Alright, welcome back for another round here with our mono black Eldrazi deck. Testing for Grand Prix Denver. This is TCGplayer.com. I'm Conley Woods. And we have a pretty solid opening hand here. Lead with Ruins of One Reef. Transgress into potentially complete disregard if we have a target. Otherwise, and I'll wait on Matter Reshaper for the counter. Otherwise, I'm happy to play a turn 3 Matter Reshaper. And our draw steps will obviously influence everything as well. Alright. Opponent will go into 6. Slightly beneficial for us. Maybe on blue-white flash we'll get a better idea here in a second. That was a good draw. So yeah, he's definitely on blue-white flash. We could take out this Thalia with complete disregard pretty easily. So it really comes down to taking out Gisela or Gideon. Gideon is the much more obnoxious of the two cards. Gisela is actually not too big of a deal. So I'm just going to take out this Gideon. And then we'll either complete disregard the Copter. If he plays it on turn 2, we'll leave open complete disregard. If he doesn't play, if he plays like Thraben Inspector, then I'll go ahead and play my Matter Reshaper, I think. The Thraben Inspector does make the Bearer of Silence a little bit worse, but that's okay. Plate's gone. Copter. Yeah, so there's a good chance he needs the loot here. I'm going to go ahead and play the Corrupted Crossroads because it comes into play tapped under Thalia, whereas the Swamp doesn't. So that way I can, if he does play a land in Thalia to animate the Copter next turn, I can complete disregard the Copter and then Bearer Silence the Thalia. Ooh, I also have a Wasteland Strangler now. My draw is really, really strong at this point. I would be very surprised to lose. This deals with Gisela. We're going to have multiple exile cards. So if he didn't draw a land, I'll play a Thraben Inspector here. He's got to sell the Spirit, okay, sure. Get exiled. Can't stop it. Can't stop this. Alright, I'm just going to Wasteland Strangler here. It'll probably, and I get to put a counter on it, which is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is, ooh, that's kind of a good one too. Yeah, I'm going to wait on that because I only really care about the Gisela. I don't care about his 3 drops. But this also enables my Bearer of Silence, so if he does play a 3 drop, I'll just eat that with Bearer of Silence. None of these are likely to matter. I don't think he's going to have Delirium in his deck, maybe. Whoa, 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 whoa. Almost F6'd. That would have made my play much worse that turn. I thought Not Zero probably would have been way better if I didn't get the counter out of it. The Inspector. He drew a land and still opted. Oh, okay. Wow. So he's used all his cards. Would not mind a land here. Gonna take that Gisela just to get it out of the way. I don't really care about the Thalia at all. Counter up. At this point, we start with a lot more gas. We have a card waiting in reserve. I guess that's matched by his. but we have more mana to utilize it. We have Bearer Silence, which is a 2-for-1. We have Mana Reshaper, which is a 2-for-1. Play this so I can. I guess that doesn't actually matter in this particular spot because I need one more to put a counter and clue. Doing this because might as well at some point I'm going to have to. Getting for 5. Start putting him on a clock. 3-2 in the air and a 5-5 on the ground is pretty reasonable. Alright, he's drawing. He'll land. Get an attack. Interesting. That was a good draw. Scooping. We have very few bad draws at that spot, but that's really when you beat up. Whenever you get ahead like that against blue-white flash, you just take them out. That's like one of your kind of signature games against them, is just getting a little bit ahead and then snowballing it. The games where you are kind of on the draw and have like a mediocre opening 7, where you kind of have to fight back from behind, those could be a lot tighter and a lot closer games, and they often get you down into really low single digits, and you have to kind of bounce back. So we're going to bring in Harsh Scrutiny, the third, because it's really, really strong against them. I'm probably going to take one of these guys. 2 Reality Smashers. I could take out even all 3 Reality Smashers, but I think I'm going to do 2. Bring in a Wasteland Strangler. Bring in a Titan's Presence. This deals with Avacyn. You can reveal Thought-Knot or Reality Smasher to it, and then if it doesn't deal with Avacyn, it's essentially just another complete disregard, because at that point you have Wasteland Strangler, Matter Reshaper, and Scrapheap's Conjure that all hit 3 drops. So it's kind of just like another complete disregard, which is fine against him, but it also can occasionally hit Avacyn, which is nice. I kind of want to cut 1 Copter, although it is one of the better cards at answering their Copters. I would be adding a Liliana, which is pretty good against him. It kills Selfless Spirits. I guess it's not that great, but it's reasonable. It could bring in Flame Tendrils instead as well. That might not even be that bad. Flame Tendrils could be better than Titan's Presence, or it could be better than Complete Disregard. I kind of like that. So I think I'm going to go -1 Copter and bring in 1 Tendrils. Sure. To run it. Alright, we'll be right back for Game 2 here against Blue-White Flash. Alright, welcome back. Game 2 here against Blue-White Flash with our Mono Black Eldrazi deck. We don't have a great hand on the draw here, but we have a hand that we certainly can't mulligan. If we happen to enable this Wasteland Strangler, it'll be amazing. If we get like a turn 2 Transgress. But we have double Ruins of One Reef, which means we're going to win most long games, which is really nice. We have some card advantage with Bearer Silence and Sky Sovereign, and we have good mana. So we just don't have like a perfect kind of curvy thing like we did last game. But like if he doesn't play Selfless Spirit or Copter here, we'll be fine anyway. Okay, play Copter. So now we're hoping. Ooh, Harsh Scrutiny is not bad. I could potentially take his only card that enables Copter, so I'm going to go ahead and add black. And I get a Scry out of this. He's got 2 Spellquellers, so if he wants to enable Copter, he's just got to run out of Spellqueller naked, which is perfectly fine by me. We're going to... don't know. I guess I could top this. This card's pretty good. I kind of want to draw something in Exiles. This blocks his Copter is my thinking. But at the same time, if he doesn't play Spellqueller, do I even want this? I don't. I'm going to put it on the bottom. It's slightly awkward to put down the bottom because it's not the worst draw. But I'm trying to play around both options of him running out Spellqueller to enable Copter right now and him saving the Spellqueller. It looks like he's saving a Spellqueller. So in that world, I'm 100% happy with my decision there. I would rather just kind of slow roll this and If he wants to run out Naked Spellqueller, he can, and then I'll get him with Bearer of Silence. But I'm happy just to make land drops while we sit here doing nothing. Ooh, got a black source even. I can even play Sky Sovereign, which gets through Spellqueller because it only hits 4 drops and less. So if he does make a different play ever, yeah, this is great for me. Triple Ruins of Worn Reef, I'm just going to win the long game. You can't... Blue-White Flash seems like it should be able to win a long game against you, but if they do not get an active Gideon down or something like that, it's over for him. Like, he's not hitting land drops. He can't... This is not good for him. He might have a handful of counter magic, and it's still not great for him. So here I can run this out eventually, but I want to be able to run out in the same turn where I can play Bearer of Silence. So I'm going to wait at least one more turn because he hasn't made a land drop, and there's a chance that he pulls the trigger and does something dumb if he does make a land drop. Or maybe he just runs out Spellqueller right now. Looks like he is. Okay. So we can deal with that. That's perfectly fine. It means that he's gotta tap multiple creatures to get this out and active, which means he can't activate it when I play Bearer of Silence, which means Bearer of Silence can eat the Spellqueller, or I could play Sky Sovereign and eat the Spellqueller. The Bearer is a safer play simply because he gets around all the counter magic that he possibly could have. We know he doesn't have lands in his hand, so it's weird that he hasn't made any plays in a while. Actually, we do know we could have lands in his hand. Do we see this? Yeah, he's played both those lands. Okay, we discarded land, so he doesn't care that much. A lot of people will show their hand and counter your spell before you even pay the sacrifice clause, so we'll know. So it's going to have 3 counters on it, so it is a 5/4 flyer. If he's got another Spellqueller, all good. If he does, I'm going to go ahead and play the Scrap Heap Scrounger after this and put 1 counter on it. Counter. Might have a Stasis Snare, but him having a Stasis Snare, Bearer of Silence is obviously great for me. That means Bearer of Silence ate a Spellqueller and a Stasis Snare. Nope, didn't even Stasis Snare. Alright, so he didn't use that. He had 4 mana on his turn and didn't use it at all, which is great. I used 7 mana on my turn. You know, it's not like that's the only indicator of who's going to win the game, but if I'm using 7 mana and he's not using any, think about how far ahead I'm pulling. Like, yes, he got a loot off, he dealt 3 damage, but that just doesn't matter. We're at 2 high life totals. I also got a 5/4 flying creature into play, which is pretty nice. I still can't activate either of these Stranglers. Ooh, that cannot feel good. I can't activate either of these Stranglers, but I could play a Sky Sovereign, which might die to a 1 mana counterspell, whatever the heck that's called. I forgot off the top of my head. Ooh, I could see first. Perfect. Ceremonious Rejection, that's what I was looking for. He's got a Revolutionary rebuff as well. So if I can get that Ceremonious Rejection out, that'd be nice. Put this on the bottom. Gonna make a black here. My main goal with this play is to get him to use the Ceremonious Rejection. He may or may not. I don't know. I have no cards that currently exile anything, so I was fine with that being the case. And then I'm going to go ahead and play this card as well, and then put a counter in each of them. He's got Blessed Alliance. He's got Gideon in his hand. So I have two 4/3s, which obviously match up much better against this 3/2. And put a little bit of pressure on a Gideon should he decide to play that. That Ceremonious Rejection was huge for him, though. If he didn't have that in his hand, I would not have... This game would have been instantly over. The rebuff doesn't matter against Sky Sovereign. Either of my Gideons hit... if we can get him to use Blessed Ally, that'd be... Blessed Alliance would be really good. He didn't animate Copter. Okay. We have an unknown draw step. What do I want to do here? I'm going to keep playing my lands. He's got the rebuff in his hand, and I had triple ruins, so it could matter. Like if I drew a... I don't know, something. Eat his 2/2 token. Then I get to attack with both 4/3s at Gideon. I'm not going to put any counters on this. I'm going to leave open this. That way if he does Blessed Alliance, I can play the Sky Sovereign afterwards. I'm expecting him to block actually he has to cast Blessed Alliance now if he wants to save Gideon. So he didn't, so he expects Gideon to die here, which is great for me. Discarded a plane, so we still know his hand. So Gideon's dead, Copter's dead. And then, because that's the case, I can't play this into rejection, obviously. So I'm just going to go ahead and put some counters on this. Pass the turn. So now he's got a bunch of reactive spells. Ooh. I kind of want him to counter the flat. They're both really good. If I get him a Ceremonious Rejection, this has haste and we'll probably just kill him. I'm going to try this. And then I'll probably play a 4/3 Wasteland Strangler afterwards. Actually, no, I won't, because that'll just turn on his rebuff. That'd be dumb. Oh. That was his draw step. Well then. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's kind of bad. Jeez. I can't believe that's what he drew. Why would he even... It's kind of rough. I'm going to play this as a 4/3 simply because it needs to be able to block this. And I do have the Reality Smasher for next turn, but man, that Avacyn off the top was absolutely crucial. He needed to draw a giant threat that could turn this game around in about a one-turn window, and this was the best possible thing he could have drawn. Gideon wouldn't have been that good at that point, especially with Reality Smasher out. Wow, he was drawing more gas. All right. I guess there's only so much you could do. So I'm going to attack with... Man, this is kind of awkward, isn't it? It's not that awkward. If he rebuffs, I can pay and still triple Oran Reef. We know he has the Blessed Alliance still, too. This will deal 9 to me. And all my stuff's going to... It's each other creature. Okay, so all of his creatures will die too, so I won't be at risk of dying, if that is the case. And he might be... If he's not at the risk of dying, at least I can maybe peel something to kill it. Kill him or kill it, something. We'll see. And I can still return this guy. Won't have any counters on it, assuming I put all my counters here, which I should. Okay, everything's going to die, so that doesn't matter too much. Counters there. Does this hit each player, or just each opponent? Okay, each opponent. I wish I had left over a black, but not a big deal. Alright, he's at 12. I have 11 showing. We know he's got this in his hand before his draw. He didn't break this in a turn, I think because he thought he had the win. Alright, we have a lot of draws that can save us. And some number of draws that can win us the game. So let's hope for each. I don't mind using my energy here. I got plenty of black if I need it. Alright, Chump Blocker. Not bad. Also lethal. So I shouldn't just say Chump Blocker. Alright, black, colors. Get out there. Actually, the most important that thing does is protect him against Bearer of Silence. Oh, I didn't draw it, so I guess I'm dead. Yep, alright. I could try to bluff something, but it's never going to work, so just move to the next game. That was a close one. That Avacyn was legitimately like the best possible thing he could have drawn. There's even some value of potentially Lost Legacy to try to get rid of it, but I think that Transgress plus Harsh Scrutiny and stuff is enough. Could see doing this instead of Sky Sovereign on the play. Could see doing two of these actually. I mean, he's got. Yeah, this is so much better against the overwhelming Whatever the heck. I don't know why I keep forgetting what the name of that card is. The 1-mana counter spell. Whatever. I should bring in another Scrap Heap Scrounger, though, probably. Then again, not really. I'm also not a big fan of Flaying Tendrils on the play. On the draw, it made more sense. Alright, I'll board that out, leaving the 2 Mindbenders and 1 Reality Smasher. Let's give it a shot. We'll be back for Game 3. Alright, Game 3 here. Mono Black Eldrazi versus Blue-White Flash. We're going to go ahead and keep this hand. I'm going to turn 1 Ruins. Actually, I'm just going to turn 1 Harsh Scrutiny, and then probably Ruins after that. Getting a little bit... Hitting his Thraben Inspector, if he's got one, to stop a potential Copter is really nice. Also, it makes sure I don't draw another land. So he's got Thraben Inspector, Copter. Oh, perfect. Yeah, if I had waited a turn, I would have gotten terribly crushed here. This is why Harsh Scrutiny is better than Transgress sometimes. Alright, we're going to put this. We're going to... Sure, we'll top that. It's a spell. It's not a great spell. It's pretty neutral, but it's better than drawing a land, so I'll just keep it on top. Here, I'm just going to play this. Actually, no, I should have... Yeah, I'm going to. I don't think he's going to Ceremonious Rejection it. The goal was play it now because it's going to get in more damage than if I wait to give it a counter. But then I thought, oh, there's a chance he Ceremonious Rejections it. No, he left open. He didn't play Copter. He left that open instead. Oh, sure. That's totally fine for me if he's going to use his spells kind of haphazardly. I mean, maybe he had to, I guess. So now I expect him to play Copter and leave open Ceremonious Rejection. Do I want to play into Ceremonious Rejection? It does enable my Matter Reshaper. I don't have any exile cards. I think I'm just going to pitch this Wasteland Strangler out there into it. It enables the Scrap Heap Scrounger, so it's actually more positive for me than not, because it still turns a 3/2 on. And that Ceremonious Rejection is going to get something out of my hand eventually. It's too cheap. And play this and play Ruins, so that way next turn I can bring back Scrounger and double Ruins him up. Have a couple of threats. Worst case scenario here is my opponent just has like a 5th land and Avacyn, which is really possible. I'm going to test the waters here with just attacking with the Matter Reshaper, which isn't a huge deal if it dies, but I can't play too scared. Alright, now we're going to play a 5/4 Scourge, or excuse me, Scrounger. Oh, I said Scourge. Counters. Robots in disguise. Non-land. Non-land would be great. I have quite a few lands. It's not bad. Even if he has Avacyn, one of these is getting it, but he didn't have Avacyn last turn. So I'm going to go ahead and play this. More fatties. Every creature is a fatty. Play that just in case I draw something Reality Smasher or something. Dude, this harsh scrutiny won us this game. I don't want to call it too early. Yes, they won us this game. If that Thraben Inspector comes down, that Copter hits us 10 times or something absurd. And on top of that, he gets a free cantrip, which can, turn into anything. All right, so that harsh scrutiny, it was literally all. If I had played turn 1 Ruins of Ordinreef, we would have lost that game. So that was a good call on my part. It was a little bit of a lucky call because I was very close to Ruins of Ordinreefing. But yeah, harsh scrutiny, very, very important in this matchup. Disrupting their hand, very important. Putting them on some amount of clock, very important. And you can play it in a lot of different ways. You saw multiple sideboard strategies there, and I don't even know which one's necessarily right. I expect to really be pretty fluid in the tournament at Grand Prix Denver against Blue-White Flash, and because they all have slightly different builds, and they all kind of play the deck a little bit differently. Some a little more aggressive and tap out more, some bring in the Crown of Magic, and depending on whether you're on the play or draw, and depending on kind of the role you want to take, you get to board into that plan. And that's one thing our deck does very well, is it gives you a wide array of options, but it means you need to be really up to task with knowing kind of what your cards do, where they're helpful, when they can come in. So there you got to see a bunch of different cards come in and all kind of have different roles. Sometimes I didn't draw them, which is not a big deal, but at least I kind of explained them. The Flaying Tendrils is to kind of catch us up if we're behind against a Gideon draw or against a Selfless Spirit draw or the Thraben Inspector draw, whatever. Whereas on the play, I think Mindbenders are a lot better because they come down and they nag those Avacens, they nag the Gideons well before their issues, and Flaying Tendrils is not nearly as much of a problem because we should curve out much better, kind of like we did, even though we had a mana heavy draw. So we'll be right back. I'm pretty happy with pretty happy with that match as a Blue-White Flash candidate. So for TCGplayer.com, I'm Conley Woods playing Mono Black Eldrazi. We'll be right back.